Greetings my festive crafters and welcome to Underneath the Tree. In today's episode we're going to make a Marble Dipped Bauble, a very unique Christmas decoration if I do say so myself. Items required are styrofoam bauble, any size will do on that one. I normally use 7cm diameter ones, a kebab stick, 2 paintbrushes, decoupage glue. This is Marabou's Easy Marbling ink, which I also use for these baubles, so it's nail polish works just as well if you're unable to get the marbling ink. Water-based acrylic paint, our trusty jam jar, which you've probably seen from previous episodes, a bowl or jug for let's fill with water, some wool, and our scissors. And last but not least, some of our trusty curtain eyes and super glue gel. Okay, so first step, as with the previous baubles you've seen on our videos, and if you've not seen them, I strongly suggest you do have a look at them. So they are very fun to do, and you can create some of the most unique Christmas decorations you ever did see. So if you have seen the previous decoration videos, you'll know the drill about using the kebab stick and putting that into our Christmas bauble. This is just to help keep it steady while it's being decorated, and also it's easier to rest in the jar while it's drying. So first stage is to take our decoupage glue, and we're going to paint the bauble with the glue. Now the reason being is we're going to, in the later steps, we're going to paint this. We're going to paint the bauble with the white paints, and unfortunately styrofoam has a sort of habit of, it tends to soak up paint and glue pretty much like a sponge. So basically the decoupage glue is acting as a sealer, so the paint will have something to stick onto in the next stage when we paint it. It's important to cover the whole thing. Make sure there's no bare styrofoam. Yeah, so make sure there's no bare styrofoam there, because the paint will soak in. This is also a useful tip to learn if you're actually painting styrofoam, or covering, if you're painting styrofoam or you're assembling styrofoam, is to put around 1 to 2 coats of this or PVA glue onto it to, as I say, to seal it and to help with it sticking together. Let's double check, make sure we've covered the whole thing. Yeah, that was a little bit there. And that's one of the tricky things with styrofoam, with the PVA glue being all the same colour. It's it's very tricky to know where you painted and where you haven't, and so just make sure we've got the whole thing covered there. There we go. Last little bits there. Normally, I'd say 1 coat should be enough, and then leave it to dry for, I'd say, around half an hour. Give it time for it to dry clear. So while it's drying, we put it in our glass jar there. So while it's drying, you could always make another batch. I normally make them for my shop. And when I make them for my shop, I usually do them in batches of 4. I do 4 baubles in each jar, so like the square 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like almost like a little decoupage tree. So as I said before, leave them dry for around half an hour, and then once they're dry and it's all dried nice and clear, they'll be ready for painting. Right, as you can see, the coat is now dry, so now it's time to put some paint on this here bauble. Now the paint I normally use for this is this is Plastic Coat Fast Dry enamel. It's a water-based project paint which I used to use on plastic model kits in my teens. It's quite readily available from most craft shops and hardware stores, and there's many different colours to choose from. But I use white because it's a nice neutral colour, goes with everything. And the plan is to paint the bauble, so paint over the decoupage glue you put on this bauble earlier on. Go, stir. Let's start from the top. It's easier to rest it on the table here, and then just gradually, nice thin coat all the way over like so. So like that. So when you paint the bauble, once the first coat is on, drying time will vary from different kinds of paint you use. This paint I'm using, the drying time is around half an hour, and it will require 2 coats, just to make sure that all the styrofoam under the glue there is covered. So yep, two coats will be enough. So allowing sort of half an hour in between. Like that. If you're unable to obtain the plastic coat paint we're using in today's episode, any sort of water-based acrylic paint will do. Places like Hobbycraft do their own version of plastic coat paint in various different colours. So, or even poster paint will do, which is readily available. So as you can see, there with the first coat, the styrofoam underneath the decoupage glue is now covered. So all we need to do now is leave that to dry for around half an hour, then add a second coat. So once the paint is dry, you end up with something that looks a little like this. So that's had your 2 coats now. So that's all covered now. You can't see any of the styrofoam below the surface, and that's got a nice clean surface for you to begin dipping. In fact, that'll be our next stage. Right, now it's time to dip our bauble. Now, first of all, got a jug here filled with water, or you can use a bowl. I use a jug because it's easier to move around. And the 2 types of marbling device you can use are this is Marabou's marbling ink. This is one I've been using since the beginning. That offers quite a good finish and it's readily available. Or if you're able to acquire marbling ink from your local craft shop, we can go the nail polish route. Now the advantage of the nail polish is the fact that also it can be a lot cheaper than marbling inks in certain places, and also secondly you get a much more different variety of colours and finishes, so you can really open this project up. And thirdly it also offers a much richer colour, because I've also noticed it offers a much richer colour on other marble projects. So all we have to do now is a little tiny drop of nail polish in the water, so you can see the little drops there as it enters the water. as we're using marbling ink or nail polish, best to use gloves to avoid getting on your fingers. And to create the pattern, you can use either a kebab stick to draw a pattern in the ink, or you can just rock your bowl or jug just from side to side, or you can just let the ink sort of spread out over the water on its own. Next step, we'll take our freshly painted bauble and into the bowl it goes. So we go just down, just below the surface, and then slowly bring it up. Just give it a little shake to get the worst of the water drops off. And there you go. Look at that. Now, if you make a lot of these, as I do for with my students and with my online shop, the pattern will vary. And also, don't be afraid to experiment with using 1 or 2 different colours at the same time. I would say the maximum, I'll say 3 colours is the best. So just add 1 colour, then a second, then a third, then you can draw the patterns with a kebab stick, or just rock the bowl or jug where the water is in, or just let the pattern form naturally. And each one will be different. That's the beauty of this project. That's the beauty of it, is that the fact that every one you make will be different. There'll be no 2 the same. So now it's dry. The next stage will be to just put the bauble in our plastic in our jar. Just let it dry naturally. Let the water drops come off, and when you put them in the jar, rest the jar on a piece of newspaper or a foil tray just to catch the water drops. And when it's dry, we'll be ready for the last stages of putting the hook on and putting the sealer coat on. Right, as you can see, our decoupage bauble, our Marble Dipped Bauble, I'm sorry, getting our projects confused there, but this one's now dry. This has also had its decoupage coat done as well, as you can just see the light reflecting off there. This is just to protect the marbling ink, because the marbling ink is water based, and it will rub off if it gets wet, so that's important to do that. Lastly, the next stage, or the final stages, are to just take our kebab stick out. So as before, just twist the kebab stick round counterclockwise and actually pull it out gently. Now time to put one of our hooks in. This is just a aluminium curtain hook for net curtains. These were pre-painted some time ago. And as before, use super glue gel. The reason I use super glue gel is the styrofoam doesn't soak it up as much as the liquid, and also it's much more secure. So just a little tiny glob of glue in there. So a note to our younger viewers, if they're watching this video, is that ask a grown-up to help you with things like super glue, because they can not only get quite messy, but also can be quite dangerous. So that's just gluing in there. I'll give that a couple of seconds to allow the glue to dry off. Just press that in there. Right, now now the glue on the hook is dry. Last stage is to cut some wool. Thread it through there like so. Double knot. Well, put extra one for luck. Like that. Trim off the excess. One. It's very eager to get on the tree, this one, I think. Like that. And there you have it. one Marble Dipped Bauble. And I guarantee you'll not find a Christmas bauble more unique like this anywhere in the world. So once again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this season of Underneath the Tree. And rest assured we will be back next Christmas with more crafty activities. And also we'll have more craft tutorials, non-seasonal ones, including here coming up in the new year. So I'd just like to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. And shop with us on our website, www.runnymedecrafts.com. And from all of us here at Runnymede Crafts, have a fantastic Christmas. And of course, stay crafty.